Y'all, May 8th, out here in the garden. Just cut a case of lettuce using our harvester, which is a really fun tool to use. Got that bed nice and cut through. Lettuce was a little big, but you know, it's still edible and it's still tasty. So hopefully our folks enjoy it, and then these new leaves can come through. We can get at least one more harvest, hoping. Quick little rundown out here in the garden. The work you guys have been doing looks beautiful. Got these beds all prepped. I did not plant this one. I just wanted to highlight. I noticed there's a lot of wood chips in here, and I think that's because this used to be a pepper bed and we left it uncultivated for like 2 years, and then pulled out those peppers, and now the wood chips in the area around it were a lot. So I understand digging, you probably got a lot of wood chips in there. What I'm probably gonna need to do here before we put any seeds is come through and rake some of those wood chips out, and then put maybe 2 or even 3 loads of compost, stack it up nice and high so it gets nice and rich. But I'd love to see how clear it's looking. Got those poles out, and the bed is looking good. I also wanted to highlight our nighttime furry friends continue to come through and get a meal out here. So that's one of the challenges we're dealing with, trying to keep these raccoons out of the garden. But other than that, it's looking good. This lettuce is starting to bolt, so I just left it. Didn't do anything to it. I think we could come through and selectively harvest if we want to give to folks, but I think it's done. So I think we need to clear this bed right here, and we can flip this and get some new stuff going. Our beets are looking good. The only thing I'm seeing is that there's a heavy weed presence, and that's gonna be kind of a problem, just because we want those leaves to be able to get as much sun as possible. Other thing is, we don't want to let this guy get too comfortable out here in the garden. You can see all those buds coming through. They're gonna make tons of seeds, thousands of seeds, and if we let them go, they carry in the wind and they spread everywhere. So one thing we've been really working on out here is just making sure we get those weeds and don't let them come to go to seed, and that way our pressure from the weeds when we plant our seeds is a lot less. The other weed to pay attention to is this chickweed, and this stuff grows up and it's kind of lengthy and it's really easy to pull out, but it also will crowd out the plant. So if we could spend a little time out here just coming through this beet bed, cleaning it out, our beets are starting to get nice size. Wanted to highlight more raccoon damage over here to these radishes. And so what I'm thinking is, if we have a group like we did last week or this week come through, want to do a little work, we could get them to do some wood chipping, especially in these beds that have just been planted. So I put some cilantro out here. We could put some wood chips, not too thick of a layer, maybe about that deep, but covering it and even layering it along the edge. And that way it's less attractive for the raccoons to dig in and get those worms. So we could do it here and here. We could do it in between our peas, here and here. Put some arugula here. This is looking great. We could fill in this little trench right here and mulch that. And now all these beds are seeded. So if we want to do a little bit of wood chipping, that's a great thing to do out here right now. I think that's about it. Thought there was one more thing I wanted to highlight, but for the most part, this carrot area is just not doing it. I'm not sure if the seeds are still taking a while. It looks like it's wet, which is the great thing. You may notice this guy starts to lean a little bit. So we want to just put it up there like this, sink it in there. That way we get good coverage. We're getting a little bit of weeds in our cilantro. And then back here, actually turn this into a celery bed. It gets nice afternoon shade. The celery likes that. So we're gonna come through, probably harvest this cilantro. It didn't do much. I think it was a little dry. And then we can transplant. And so that was the thing I wanted to talk about, is how beautiful these transplants y'all did look. I see. And I was comparing these ones. I'm not sure when they got transplanted, even like last week, this week, compared to these. These are the exact same plants. And these have been sitting since we went on quarantine. they don't look as happy. You can totally see the difference. And so what I was gonna say is let's take these, and that area out there on the farm, on the bottom of the hoop row where we have the chard, if that's prepped, we can transplant some of these collards. Now these are still a little small. Might want to give them 1 or 2 more weeks to get big, but I think that would be a good one to put out there. I have all this red Russian kale, but Lauren, you were saying folks are not as into it, so let's put the collards out there. And then this is summer squash. We're pretty filled up where we're at out on the farm, so if you want to pass these out to volunteers. And then this is the lettuce that's going under the hoop. I put some more out there. And then finally, this is our celery. This is a red celery, and we're gonna put that in that bed I was just showing you. And these are our cucumbers. These cucumbers, we're just waiting for that garlic to be ready so we can get these cucumbers in the ground. I put the seeds in a little bit early, thinking our garlic would be ready by now. That's okay. Hopefully these guys can hang out. All right, so just wanted to show you the harvest for today before I head out of here. We got a case of lettuce from this bed. Gave us a nice case. And over here, we got some broccoli greens from the farm. Got some couple heads of broccoli. Got some, these are from Bret Hart Middle School. Got some spinach and some onions, but this cilantro from the first bed. Got 18 bunches right there. So that's great work, y'all. Loving it. The garden's popping, looking live. Something to think about moving forward is all this fruit's gonna start ripening. Cherries here, plums over there. So what are we gonna do? We trying to harvest it? We trying to let the birds eat it? We trying to dry it? Something to think about. All right, y'all, peace.